Hey guys and dolls, now I'd like to talk to you guys about a brush line that I'm really excited to talk about, and that is the Real Techniques brushes. Now, a lot of you guys probably already know about this if you're subscribed to Pixie Woo or one of the many bloggers who've been talking about this. Pixie Woo, for those of you who have been living under a rock, they're this super famous duo. They're sisters, they're makeup artists, they do YouTube videos, they're fantastic. Sam created a brush line, I guess somehow in conjunction with Ulta, because I believe these brushes are only sold at Ulta's, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me. So basically the entire brush line is incredibly inexpensive. The single brushes range in price from I think $7 or $8.99 to $9.99, and then the brush sets are $15.99, so very affordable, very good quality. I love my brushes that I bought, so that's really good. I had pretty high expectations because, you know, the Pixie Woo sisters were behind it, and I'm very happy that I was not disappointed. I bought two of the individual brushes, and that is these two here. This is the blush brush, and it's actually really quite large, and when it first arrived, I was just a little bit disappointed because I was hoping it would be more tapered like this brush. This is the MAC 138, one of my favorite brushes. I will eventually get around to reviewing all of my regular MAC brushes, but that comes for another time. So anyway, so it wasn't as tapered as that, so I was a bit disappointed. But this does a wonderful job of contouring, applying blush, powder, anything. It's very soft, but it actually feels more like natural hair than synthetic. I was expecting for it to feel more like the Sig Max brushes, which I really do love, but no, it does not. It feels like its own thing. It feels like natural hair, and it's quite odd. It actually also dries really fast, whereas most synthetic brushes take a while to dry, so cool beans. This next one is the Stippling Brush, and I bought this to see how it compared to the MAC 130. Admittedly, I haven't used it a terribly lot. I do actually prefer the MAC 130, but this one is pretty good for applying cream blushes and stuff, whereas I like the MAC 130 for foundation. So for me, they have different uses, and to be completely honest, I really don't use stippling brushes terribly often. I just really wanted it. Which is a terrible reason to buy a brush, but whatever. So another thing is that the individual brushes do stand up, which I think is kind of cool. Another thing too to mention about these ones with the wider bottoms, I love and hate it. On the one hand, I think it's really genius to have your brushes standing up, but it's not practical when you have as many brushes as I do, and I have them in a little brush turnabout thing, and it's just kind of bulky. So anyway, moving on. Then I got one of the kits. It's called the Core Collection, and it comes in a little black case like this. The case folds up like this, and it's great for travel, but then also it has this feature where you can pull this little toggle in the back, and then it becomes like a little brush stand. So kind of a cool idea. Core Collection is really great. The only brush that I don't really use is this one, and it's a concealer brush. Yeah, I have no use for this, but I have used it as a lip gloss brush on clients, and it works really well for that, so I did find a way to use it so it's not useless or anything. This one is called the Pointed Foundation Brush. Now for me, this is a little small for foundation. I have used it several times to apply foundation, and it does a fantastic job of that. But it is just really small, so I feel like it takes forever, so it's kind of annoying. But it does a good job, so, you know. You give some, you take some, whatever. So then we come to the, what's this called? The buffing brush. And this one I was hoping it would be kind of like something right in between a MAC 109 and the Sigma F82. It's their round top kabuki brush. And it basically is. It's a little bit fluffier than the Sigma brush, and it's not quite as dense as either the 109 or this one, but I don't know what it is about it, but it applies powder fantastically, especially Studio Fix just looks amazing with this. And again, I like that it's synthetic. One thing I don't like about the MAC 109 is that it has dyed hairs, so that means that the dye sometimes bleeds. It happens worse with my Sigma version of this brush, but more on that another time. So yeah, really like this brush. It is, again, it's great for powder foundation. I've used it for blush, contour, all kinds of stuff. It's great. And then the last brush, this one's called the Contour Brush. I've never used this for contour because it's just a little small for me for contour. I've used this for highlighting, you know, in this kind of area. I've used this for foundation several times. I actually really like it for foundation, and I wish it was sold by itself so I could buy another one just for foundation. yeah, that's pretty much it for the Samantha Chapman Real Techniques brushes. This is kind of somewhat of a first impression. I've actually had them for about a month and a half, just haven't made a video about it. I really like them. I think that they're an incredibly good value. I feel that for the price that you pay, they're fantastic, and I do plan on buying more. In fact, I showed them to my mom and she like almost immediately bought some of them, so I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky, just be yourself.